My husband fed me peanuts, which I am allergic to, so I made him an amazing dinner as revenge. I've had a peanut allergy my whole life, not the mild kind either. The kind where I carry 2 EpiPens everywhere and read ingredient labels like my life depends on it because it does. I've been to the ER twice. Once when I was 12 and ate a cookie at a friend's house. Once in college when cross-contamination at a restaurant almost killed me. My husband Jaden knew all this. He watched me check every label. He'd ask restaurants about ingredients for me. He even made jokes about being my bodyguard against peanuts. So when my throat started closing up during dinner last Tuesday, I couldn't understand what was happening. We were eating stir-fry, nothing fancy. Chicken, vegetables, rice, but my lips were tingling. Then my throat felt tight. I asked him what sauce he used. He said the same one as always, soy sauce and garlic, but I knew something was wrong. My hands were shaking as I grabbed my EpiPen from my purse. Jaden drove me to the hospital. He held my hand in the waiting room, told me it was probably cross-contamination from the grocery store, that it wasn't his fault. The doctors gave me steroids and kept me for observation. When we got home at 2 in the morning, I couldn't sleep. Something felt off about how quick he answered my question, how he didn't seem that worried. The next morning while he was at work, I checked the kitchen trash. Under some junk mail and coffee filters, I found an empty jar, peanut satay sauce. We never bought that, ever. I sat on the floor holding that jar for 20 minutes. Then I went through his iPad. I knew his passcode. We'd always been open about that stuff. That's when I found the group chat with his gym buddies. I scrolled up to last week. One of his friends wrote asking if my allergy was really that bad. Jaden replied that he thought I was exaggerating for attention. Another friend dared him to test it, to put a little bit in my food and see what happened. Jaden sent back a laughing emoji and said, "Bet, my chest hurt worse than it did in the ER." This man I married, who I trusted with my life, literally tried to kill me over a dare. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I just sat there getting angrier and angrier. Then I had an idea. Jaden was allergic to shellfish. Not deathly allergic like me with peanuts, but enough that he'd get hives and his lips would swell up. He always made a huge deal about it at restaurants. I'd seen him send back dishes that had shrimp cooked near his food. 2 days later, I invited his parents over for dinner. I also invited his boss Greg because Jaden was always sucking up to him, talking about how much Greg loved my cooking. I spent all day making everything perfect. Herb roasted chicken, garlic mashed potatoes, roasted carrots and green beans, and a special pan gravy that I made with chicken stock and butter and fresh herbs, and a tablespoon of anchovy paste. Not enough to taste it really, not enough to seriously hurt him, just enough. Everyone sat down. His mom complimented the table setting. Greg talked about some project at work. Jaden was smiling, playing the perfect host. We started eating. About 10 minutes in, Jaden's face got red. He kept touching his lips. Then he started scratching his neck. His mom asked if he was okay. He excused himself and went to the bathroom. I followed him. He was looking in the mirror at his swollen lips. That's when I held up my phone, showed him the screenshot of his group chat. His face went white. I said, "Did you really think allergies were fake? Did you think I was lying?" He started stuttering, trying to explain, saying it was just a joke, that he didn't think anything would actually happen. I told him I used anchovy paste in the gravy. He looked like he might throw up. I called 911 right there, not because I cared, but because I'm not a monster like him. When the paramedics came, his parents wanted to know what happened. I showed them the messages. His mom started crying. His dad looked at Jaden like he didn't even know him. Greg just shook his head and left without saying anything. At the hospital, they gave Jaden Benadryl and monitored him for an hour. He was fine. Unlike me when he did it, he didn't need an EpiPen, didn't need steroids, just some antihistamines and his pride hurt. His mom called me the next day crying and apologizing. She said she didn't raise him to be like that. His dad said they'd pay for my divorce lawyer. Greg sent Jaden an email that week saying the company was going in a different direction with the promotion. Jaden tried apologizing, sent me flowers, texts saying he was stupid and he'd go to therapy, but I was done. I filed for divorce 3 weeks later. My lawyer made sure he knew that if he fought it, I'd press charges for reckless endangerment. He signed everything without a fight. The divorce was final 2 months ago. He moved back in with his parents.